with a look at so-called shock ads. They're public service announcements that use realistic gore and graphic imagery to discourage viewers from risky behavior such as texting while driving or smoking cigarettes. The short television spots pioneered in the UK and Australia are now cropping up in the United States, and some viewers say they're just too much. Advocates say it's just what we need. Here's Vicki Mabry with the story.
This is what disaster looks like just seconds before it happens. In this car are 4 happy, healthy teenagers out to have fun until the driver's attention is diverted by texting. What happens next is frightening, gory, and very realistic.
I think the texting while driving ad is a new way to go and will be very effective because it's almost like watching in real time.
To media watchers like Barbara Lippert of Adweek, this public service announcement, or PSA, being aired by AAA of the Carolinas, is one of the most effective of its kind. A gory, throat-grabbing piece of work known as a shock ad.
I want Mommy and Daddy to wake up.
I think teenagers are used to seeing shocking scenes and shocking accidents, and they want to laugh at it or tune it out. I think the brilliance of this ad is that it doesn't stop there.
Shock ads are supposed to, as your grandmother might say, put the fear of God into you. There's this one pushing you to cut back on soda that shows a man drinking fat.
Please, I didn't agree to this.
And a brutal one about domestic violence featuring actress Keira Knightley.
This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs.
This was yesterday's shock ad. But today, you get this.
Every cigarette is doing you damage.
With the media environment the way it is, you have to break through the clutter. You have to get people's attention. You have to then back that up with a very compelling message.
The message from the New York State Stop Smoking campaign is delivered in graphic detail. There's artery, with a surgeon squeezing fatty deposits from the arteries of a smoker.
There's a whistling noise.
And bronchoscopy, a look down the airways of a smoker, straight into the cancerous lungs.
They're hard-hitting ads. We refer to them as high-sensation ads that are designed to unsettle people, but also to help smokers quit smoking, to motivate them to make a quit attempt.
But Jeffrey Willett, who runs the campaign for the state, says the most effective ad may be this one, called Separation.
This ad focuses on a child who's momentarily separated from his mother, and it shows his emotional reaction to that. The ad uses several camera angles to really show a long-term emotional reaction from the child that in reality just took a few seconds.
Separation got a response all right, because as it turns out, this is a very real mother and her very real son. Either that child is a very, very good actor or he really was upset that his mother was gone.
That was a sincere reaction. It was a brief reaction.
Is that going too far? Is that crossing the line?
This was a very controlled environment. It captured a reaction for a very brief amount of time. This is an enormous public health issue that we're trying to address.
The ends justify the means?
If that motivates thousands of people to quit, then it's an effective ad. It was worth the investment. It was worth that approach.
As with separation and texting, many of the best shock ads aren't made in America.
Are you cleaning your neck at all?
They're often from Australia or Britain.
You look like me.
They're a lot more open-minded in Australia and Britain than we are, so they're at home with that type of what you would call shock advertising.
But American audiences are becoming more desensitized to gore and gross body parts from watching shows like CSI.
Commercials like where they show you the aorta and they're squirting out the fat are just so gross that I could see 2 teenage boys saying, "Hey, did you see that aorta? It was so cool, the amount of fat that came out of that." I don't think that's the way to go.
Just shut up!
Still, sometimes they cut through.
Come on, Dad!
In 2005, the Montana Meth Project began a gritty campaign aimed at cutting the state's raging meth problem.
You can do anything you want to me for your 50 bucks.
Bob Molyneux, a partner in the agency that created the ads, says they work by appealing to kids' vanity or by focusing on their love of family.
Kids often don't really think about themselves, but if you tell them you're going to hurt your sister or your brother or your parents, they're like, I would never do that. I would never do that. And all of a sudden, they start to really grab hold of what this could mean if they got addicted to meth. It's not just about them. It's about their families and people that they love.
And what about smokers who see the disgusting side effects of their addiction? New York tests ads on smokers in focus groups.
You have heart disease.
And airs the ones they say would make them quit.
Over 70% of smokers said that the ads made them stop and think about quitting. That's the first step, to make them think about it. Then the next step is to make them act.
Did it actually make them quit?
Yes. Smokers who see ads that are high sensation, meaning they're emotionally evocative or they're graphic in nature, are more likely to make a quit attempt. Over 60% of people who see our ads, smokers who see our ads, make a quit attempt.
But does a quit attempt equal a quit? Not necessarily. And if the sponsors find out we're not getting the message, expect shock ads to go even further.
Eventually, what we call shocking today will become the norm, so people will have to step out even further. So I think over time that has happened. I think it will continue to happen.
This is Vicki Mabry for Nightline in New York.